We start off with a trade war whiplash. The market attempting to make up some ground today on deal hopes, but falling short at the close. And take a look at some of the trade war casualties across the board this week. U.S. Steel, the biggest loser, down 9%. Micron getting hit. China tech giant Alibaba under pressure, along with names like Wynn and Deere. So as deal talks hang in the balance, could this be your best chance to buy these stocks, or is there more pain ahead?
Can I ask a quick question? Oh, sorry.
Yes. What
was the name of that song?
I have no idea. And you know that. Oh, okay. War.
What's the name of the band who created that song?
I don't know.
War. Okay. Let's keep going. Thanks.
What is it good for?
Why do you do that to me? Can we resume the show? We're 1 minute in and we haven't gotten anywhere. Okay, we're starting with U.S. Steel.
Yes.
Traded or faded, Guy?
Well, you know what's funny? A couple weeks ago, there was the NFL draft. And
You're right.
And Petey and I were in the green room and we're talking. And he said, "What do you have?" I said, "I have U.S. Steel." I said, "Petey, what do you have?" He said, "I have John Deere." And we decided that we were going to make a trade. We were going to orchestrate a trade. So with the first pick of Wednesday night's traded or faded, Guy Adami is trading U.S. Steel to Peter Najarian. Go, Pete.
So you don't want to answer?
I'm going to take it.
Answer.
Okay, I'll take it, and I'm going to trade it.
There it is.
The reason I'm going to trade it is this stock was $45 back in February of 2018. Here it is trading at $15 when it's been at these levels in the past. I've loved what we see, so we are trading.
He's trading it.
Trading
You're trading it.
That
yes.
means,
That means green one. Thank you. Englewood Cliffs.
I traded it
to answer.
I traded it to Pedro.
Right. Does that mean that you're taking
it?
You don't have conviction on this name? If anything, I've heard you say that.
No, I do have conviction on it, but Petey seemed to have more. But I'll say this again.
So you're trading it as well.
And I'll say this. If you go back, this stock last year into March was going from 35 to 45. All the fundamentals lined up, and then President Trump, correctly or incorrectly, that's not a political show, said, you know what, tariffs, I'm tariff man, and here we go. Stock went from basically $45 to current levels in a straight line. In a fundamental story that's all deteriorated, has not deteriorated to that extent. So I'm in the Pete Najarian camp. I trade U.S. Steel.
Let it be known that from this moment forward, there shall not be allowed any trades of assignments in traded or faded.
Yeah, I don't
that was the first and last trade.
But it went well, though, with Seymour.
He got control of his desk, Mel.
Because
I mean, I tell you what,
it's actually a different game. It's actually a different game.
It's not a
double trade. It was a trade.
U.S. Steel, Tim, please. U.S. Steel.
I'm going to trade it too at the risk of being boring, and I'm long the stock, so it's been a painful trade. But Guy talked about you have a dynamic where trade took the stock down. Think about the Bush trade tariffs, which actually took steel companies down about 55%. These have actually exceeded that. Hot rolled coil almost near all-time high prices. Are you following the developments with Vale, where essentially they are being legally bound to hold back on supply, which is also pushing up iron ore prices, which is also pushing up steel prices? So look, at a 3% economy with industrial companies, not falling apart, you want to own steel companies here, and you want to wait through this because it's going to be sloppy.
A lot of this recent weakness was by UBS. They cut their price target from 22 to 10.
Right.
That's where you see a lot of this on top of the trade impact and the headwinds. I would say trade the stock. Wow. Not the worst is over, but I think you're due for a bounce here.
Trades
Hold on, you said trade the stock. So you're selling it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Trade it.
This is trade it or fade it.
Come on, Tim.
Trade it.
Trading it. He's buying it.
Fade it is bad.
Yeah.
Next stock is Deere. It is down 7% so far this week. Pete Najarian, trade it or fade it?
Well, I traded this to Guy Adami.
Didn't you just hear we did at the top of the show?
Turns into a fade.
Mayhem.
I ban trade, so Pete shall answer.
All right. So at this stage of the game, when I look at Deere, actually, look at where it just came from. Look at what the stock has done over the last period of, call it the net last year. I don't think it's fallen back enough. And if this trade war continues to be there, I think you've got to fade this stock because I think there's plenty of downside from here.
I agree with him. And this was going to be, he traded to me. So I actually have only been traded. Fade it. Deteriorating fundamentals, major double top. Last quarter was not particularly good. I think you're going to see analysts cut numbers. So I think I agree with Pete. I think this trades 150 before it trades much significantly higher.
What I love about technicals, you just said major double top. I look at this chart and I see it's actually supportive around these levels. So I think it's due for a bounce. I would trade it.
Wow.
I'm glad we have one because I'm a fader here, too. I think if you think about Deere's multiple at 17 times, it's not terribly cheap to itself. I think this is not an indictment of the global economy. And yes, you can like steel and not like Deere in the same sentence. So I am fading John Deere.
All right, Micron down 8%. Grasso, traded or faded?
So I think it's worth acknowledgement. I'm going to start off with trade it, but I'm looking at this. We're fast money traders. We have a very slim time horizon. So a lot of this is just overreactions. So I could feel that a lot of these are fades, but for this week, for the game, not the double trade game, but for the game, I think that these are all buys, right? So trade this one. They really are correlated to DRAM pricing. I don't know if the worst is over for DRAM, but the chart sure as heck doesn't look like it can go much further lower.
I don't know if the worst is over either, but because of that, that's why I think I'd actually fade this one. And the reason I'd fade it is this is a stock that, let's not forget, at the start of the year was 28 bucks. Here it is running up towards $40 a share. It's had a great run, and if there's anything that shows any weakness to the downside, I think there might be pressure on names like Micron and other chips. We already heard today from Intel.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on right now in the chip space. I think, unfortunately, right now I'd have to disagree with you. I'm going to fade this one.
But you're still long Intel.
I'm long Intel, yes.
And you don't care. You don't care about the slides that
I'm
they
a
put
little
up at
bit
the investor presentation.
I am absolutely concerned about that, but that happened at the end of the day, and I couldn't really react much to it. No, it's
What
not.
was that?
I came in.
I'm in the fade camp, and
Micron, yeah.
And we talked about it when they reported. I mean, if you go back and listen to what they said, they didn't paint a particularly rosy picture. The stock traded up on the back of it, which surprised us all on the desk. It traded, I think, from 42.5 to 44. I was surprised, but now I think it's doing what it should be doing. This is in the wake of Texas Instruments. This is in the wake of Intel, and I think chips go lower. So I'm in the faded camp. I think Micron can trade down to 35 bucks easily.
Yeah, I'm a fader on this one. I just, to me, I think the chips have some cyclical headwinds here, but Micron's had headwinds even without trade wars. Why would I jump in now? Just because it sold off more? No, I fade it.
Good game.
The next one is, if you play according to the rules, it's a good game. Alibaba, Tim.
Yeah, here's how you do it, Guy. You don't trade it. You just say, you know what, trade it. And in fact, Alibaba is a name that I think has been the ultimate victim of a trade war when, in fact, this isn't really a global trade story. It's an Asian trade story. And I think if you look at the stock before a week and a half ago, it was starting to break out on the concept that actually these guys have actually slowed down some of their spending. It trades at a multiple that is, puts it at a PEG ratio of around 1. Of the mega cap tech names out there, I think in the absence of a trade war, I think this is a name you want to own.
And it's got revenue growth. I actually own calls in this one. I do not own the stock, but I own calls because I expect over the next couple of weeks, I think we see a recovery out of Alibaba because of what Tim's saying. This is very reliant on China itself. Yes, they've gone through a lot of headaches so far, and I think that's already been priced in. I think there's upside from here.
Well, you just have to ask yourself, is Friday going to be worse or better than it is today? And I think it's going to be better. So,
really?
So even
better,
if you
better
get,
in, wait.
Better how?
Better in what way?
I think that we've already priced in. That we priced in a lot of positive news going to the trade war or trade resolution, and now we priced in a heck of a lot of negativity.
What do you think we priced in so far? We've priced in a hike to 25%.
Yeah, they had to go to hike from 10% to 25% on tariffs. Not new tariffs. Okay. No new tariffs.
Right. So that's your baseline.
So that's my baseline on it. I think that you could get a little bit of headwinds, but for me, this week, I think that all of these stocks are trade-its based on that premise.
All right, let's get to our bonus round.
Do we deserve a bonus round?
Like
you
the
really
Jones
don't
Bonus
deserve a
implies you've
bonus
done
round.
something well, and I'm not so sure.
We always talk about
Especially
those
Guy
guys.
who's going to get this one.
right.
Win, Guy.
They report tomorrow. This is a tough one, Melissa Lee, because they report earnings. And
Want trade to Pete?
Huh? No,
No,
I know.
trade
it. And we've been pretty steadfast on this. Now, I was surprised that it traded below $100 without question. But we've said for quite some time the sell-off is overdone. Valuations are reasonable. Seems like things are straightening out on the gaming side in China. And so I would say into earnings tomorrow, although this terrifies me, the fact that we've gone from 150 to 139, I think that's a sell-off in earnings. I say trade it.
I think the earnings are actually a catalyst upside for the stock. I think if you think about what's been pushing Win around, it's been their own idiosyncratic stuff, and it's certainly been trade war. This is a Macau play for sure. And if you look at the chart of actually Win, even with LVS and some of the other casinos, they're more or less in lockstep. This has got a little bit more torque to it. By the way, it trades probably 2.5 turns to Las Vegas Sands. So on a relative value play, I'd rather own Win. I would trade this one.
Okay.
I thought we played the game collectively the best we've ever done.
Have you seen more energy?
No,
That's
not
one
for a
person's
Thursday
opinion.
night.
Well, we got Mel
one
very
person's
fired
opinion.
up. She actually got angry with us for the.
I did. I may still be
sensed
angry just a
real
little bit.